Today we are talking about brain health, not mental health. I talk about that a lot, but the actual health of your brain. What up, superhumans? My name is BT. If you're new to this channel, first of all, welcome. Thanks for coming. I like to create content that's going to help you move, feel, and perform better, both mentally and physically. Last July, I ended up getting kneed in the face during jiu-jitsu, and it ended up giving me a concussion. And then I got a kneed again in the face in the same spot and got another concussion. And then another, and another, and another. I ended up getting 5 concussions in less than a year. And if you know anything about concussions, is that they're terrible. Sometimes you can get those immediate ones where you get knocked out and maybe the next day you're fine. But for me, I ended up getting post-concussive syndrome, and those side effects can last for years. And I've never had to deal with a concussion before. I've had lots of injuries, but this is by far the most nagging and aggravating injury that I've had. It just ruins your day. These are weird symptoms, the nausea, the headaches, the vision problem, any sort of stimulus at all, light, sound, becomes pain. And like I said, it just ruins your day.
You're gonna have a bad time.
But the effects that it has on the actual chemical health makeup of the brain are pretty profound. It will directly affect your mood, your sleep, the executive functions of your brain. I think this is perfect timing because right as the pandemic hit, we all had to hunker down and isolate. My symptoms, my concussion symptoms started back up. They started to get bad. I hadn't had them in a couple months. And so I wanted to share with you the 3 things that I've been doing that have dramatically improved my mood, my sleep, the health of my brain. I thought it would be perfect to share with you. All right, so I thought before we actually talk about treatments, it would be really good to understand what a concussion is, the symptoms that you get from a concussion, and how they're relatable to you when you don't have a concussion. So I drew a head and a brain. It's not that great, but you didn't come here for the art. What happens is you take a traumatic blow to the head, and that's going to violently shake the head. The brain ends up bouncing around inside your skull, ends up hitting the skull wall, stretching and twisting, and this can actually shear off very delicate brain cells and parts of those, delicate structures that make up the brain. Thinking about your brain getting whacked back and forth, you're like, oh yeah, I can see how that would cause some symptoms. Some of these are common sense, some of them aren't. And most of that comes down to those like chemical reactions that I was telling you about. But the symptoms I was experiencing, memory loss, that was one of the more scary ones. I would be driving and all of a sudden I'd be like, where am I? What am I doing? Why am I here on the road? Like I had a complete space out a few times as to where I was. Mood swings. When it got bad, I was like volatile. I felt bipolar in a way where I'd have mood swings with depression, but this was like different. I don't know how to explain it, but I was having some really weird mood changes. As I just stated, it made my depression a whole lot worse. I found it nearly impossible to be productive.
There is still no word on a cure for the virus. Government officials report the virus is not airborne, but can be transferred through contact with blood and other food.
Oh, wait for it, best line. You can't handle the truth. Tom Cruise, dumbass.
As the symptoms started to lift, it made me like really lazy and unproductive. I just wanted to sit on a couch and eat chips and not do anything. And another one that I thought was really weird, but it makes total sense. It made me crave sugar, not just carbs, but like sugar. I just could not stop eating like chocolate and donuts and all that crap. And the reason being is like when you get a concussion, your brain has to work like twice as hard. So it just goes through glucose like crazy.
Basically, it means you're pretty messed up. All right, so to kind of fix this, I'm headed to US Cryo. They specialize in recovery. They have a whole bunch of modalities. I primarily stick to two, the PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, and cryotherapy. And I'm sure you know what cryotherapy is. Also, sorry for the mess. We did one of those COVID cleanups where we just totally cleaned out our garage, and I ended up with a ton of clothes that I don't wear anymore, like this. I don't need a top hat. Anyway, all right, let's get out of here. So I'm here, US Cryotherapy. As I said before, they have a ton of different recovery tools, modalities to choose from, and I do them all, but I primarily stick with these two. I use the PEMF, this machine right here on my side, and then the big chamber in the back, that's the cryo chamber, and I'll talk to you about that here in a second. But how does this work? Well, essentially when you get a concussion, you end up damaging those delicate brain cells, right? They also go through some chemical and electrical changes as well. They end up losing their charge, and those cells that begin by looking like grapes, they start off looking like grapes all full and healthy, they end up getting sick, they lose their charge, and they end up looking like raisins. So this works by restoring that charge, the proper charge, and they go from looking like raisins back to grapes. It's pretty simple. Turn the machine on, turn it up to the right intensity. I just put these on, right on my forehead, kick back, 30 minutes, and I feel great. And like I stated earlier, you can benefit from these things even if you don't have a concussion. Cells lose their charge and get sick and unhealthy all the time. So coming in and using a PEMF machine could do you a lot of good. All right, here is the second thing that I like to use. This is the cryo chamber. It is a giant electric cryo chamber, a little different than the gas ones that you've probably heard about. I'm not sure if you saw that Tony Brown almost lost a foot. That was in a gas chamber. If you're gonna use one, use this kind. It's what LeBron James has. It's good enough for LeBron. It's good enough for you. You've heard me talk many times about the benefits of cold exposure. There are a couple different types. Actually, I just did like a 30-day challenge on it. If you haven't seen it, go watch that video right there. But you've got like ice baths, cold showers, cryo chamber. They're all a little different. They all do relatively the same things, a little different approach to each. The reason I like the cryo chamber is one, time. It only takes me 3.5 minutes at most to do a full session. Two, I get a huge surge of endorphins afterwards. Cryo chamber is going to dramatically drop your body temperature much faster than the other two, and it's far less painful. Stay in there for 3.5 minutes, come out. Once you hit room temperature, you go from a negative 140 degrees to room temperature. You do that really fast, blood rushes to your skin. It's great for inflammation, and then it gives you a surge of those endorphins. The other reason I like it is because there's a speaker in there and I can listen to Van Halen. There you have it. That was a pretty quick rundown of the two things I do at US Cryotherapy. We're gonna head back to the house and I'm gonna show you the last thing that you can add to your daily regimen to dramatically improve that brain health. When you have a concussion, there's a bunch of stuff you're not supposed to take, or it can make your concussion worse. Like you're not supposed to use ibuprofen. You're supposed to use Tylenol instead. And you're supposed to cut out caffeine. And there's a problem with the latter. As I told you, when I got the concussion, I got pretty lazy and pretty unproductive. And the only way I could cope with that was by taking a lot of caffeine. Prior to the concussion, I was using a nootropic, which is a supplement that helped me improve my mood, boosted my energy, improved my productivity and focus. But the company that used to make the one I took, it went out of stock, and then they just stopped making it. A little while ago, a company reached out to me and asked me if I would take their nootropic, give it a try. And after looking at the nutrition label, it ended up having almost the same ingredient profile as the previous nootropic I took. So kind of like a no-brainer. I told them yes, I would. I've been taking it for the last month, and it has really helped me not only stay focused, motivated, and productive, which is insanely difficult during the pandemic, but it's dramatically reduced my need for caffeine, which in turn helps my brain. And the ingredients all help with those weird side effects that have happened because of my concussion. You know me, I don't pitch brands unless I really believe that they work. I've pitched Compex. I don't know if I've pitched another brand. Anyway, and I told Cognetics I was under no obligation whatsoever to share anything, let alone make a freaking video on it, unless I loved it. And I really do. I love it. Within a week of taking it, I found myself really crushing tasks. My productivity went through the roof, and I did it without caffeine. It was helping me bring down that caffeine level. So Cognetics Excel, it's empty because used it all, waiting on the next bottle. It's $50, which I know can seem like a lot for a supplement, but really think of this as an investment, just like you would good food or a pair of super cozy slippers. A few other things about Cognetics is that one, they're offering a 15% off discount, and you can get that link just down below in the description. So that's awesome. It'll save you some money. Even if you don't have a concussion, what if you could improve all of these things? Less mood swings, less need for sugar, better sleep, improved memory. Don't you think your life would improve? Improve your brain health, you're gonna improve your life. That you can be sure of. If you like the video, please hit that like button. It goes a long way, not only for the YouTube algorithm, but it lets me know what kind of content you want to see more of. If you love the video, consider subscribing. It's free and it helps the channel grow. And with more channel growth comes better and better content for you. Finally, if you want to be notified as to when I release new content, just hit that little notification bell down below. That's it. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.